Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is July the 12th, 2026. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Sunday. Hopefully, it was a fun day for you. As for me, as for mine, it's been a good day. Not just a good day, but a good weekend. I had a gay old time. Let's see, but let's wind it back to Friday. I did have to, go to work. I had to clock in, clock out. But before I got to work, I woke up pretty tired. On Thursday night, I was just already tired then. I fell asleep too early, woke up in the middle of the night, and I wound up maybe getting another hour of sleep before my alarm started going off. So I woke up like, okay, I'm pretty rough for wear, but let's get this weekend going. But we gotta get through work first, okay? So we got to work. Work wasn't too busy. We made the most of the day all the same. I think I got out maybe around 4 o'clock, so that's like close to like I think 20 minutes early, something like that. Normally I would have gone to the gym, but I knew that like just given my fatigue rate, I needed to go home and try to nap. So I came home. I think I napped for about an hour, got up, and got myself together to head out to my beautiful, wonderful girlfriend and, spend the weekend with her as I'm wont to do. So we squatted up at the house at the new apartment, which is it's definitely come along so well. She's got a beautiful, wonderful bed with the bed frame. It's nice and big. The bed's done, the dresser's done, so it's all nice. It's all coming together. It really is just a 1-to-1 transfer. I feel like at this point, at least for all the stuff I'm used to seeing. So that's nice. And then let's see, we had to figure out food, and we had been eyeing this pizza place for a while. We finally pulled the trigger and we went to the spot called Angelo's. Now, I don't know if this is like a chain or if these are like franchised out. I'm not exactly sure. But this was a pizza joint that had like an Indian fusion menu as well in terms of like the pizzas and stuff. So we wanted to try them out. We got and really we weren't going actually for the pizzas. I told Zoe that I like really wanted a meatball like hoagie. I wanted a meatball sub. I was just in the mood for it. So that was like kind of the quickest option that we could come up with to do that. And we're like, well, while we're at it, let's go ahead and try these pizzas out. So we tried the tikka masala pizza, and then a pineapple pepperoni pizza. Starting with the pizzas, they were very good. They were very yummy. The tikka masala pizza, it's weird because I would just say it was a default pizza that was just yummy. It was good. Like I loved it. Zoe loved it as well. I guess to me, like I would say it captured the essence of a tikka masala, but like I don't know. It was there. It was good. I wanted to try another one, but maybe next time I might try that one. I forget what it was. It was like a butter paneer one or something like that. But overall, definitely love the pizzas. The hoagies were good. I got one with what was it? Red onion and spinach. So yeah, that was good. They had onion rings and fries. Both were yummy. So the whole thing hit the spot. I enjoyed it. Zoe enjoyed it. Post that moves us into Saturday, because really this whole weekend we did not do much. We more or less stayed and we went out to go get pizza that night. Saturday it rained all day. So we were just comfy cozy. We watched some RuPaul's Drag Race, at least like a new episode of that. Watched a lot of Survivor. We're still on the binge. I think we're on like season 7, maybe something like that. It's one of my favorite seasons because it has Rupert, and Rupert's one of my favorite survivors. I know I'm getting into like inside Survivor baseball here, but knowers know Rupert was awesome. I am telling Zoe how much I hate Johnny Fairplay. um, even though I got some homies that rock with them, they like them, and like I mean, hey, that you like who you like. But yeah, it's nice to really get into some of my Survivor favorites. But yeah, we mostly were just in the house, just chilling. We did go out for another thing today, but I'll get to that. Because at night, well, actually not quite at night, afternoon, there were some leftover pizza that Zoe reheated. I really wasn't about it, but I will say I did try a little bit more of the tikka masala pizza. So it goes to show, because I hate leftovers, that pizza was good. You know what I mean? I'm not usually hitting the leftover button, but I finished a couple of pieces off. But she made me a grilled cheese on sourdough, white cheese, yummy. Gobble that up. But for dinner, she made Philly cheesesteaks. Oof, big time with some homemade fries. She cut up the potato, baked them up. They were nice and yummy with some like Cajun seasoning, salt, pepper, all that. So that fucking hit the spot. And then later on, she made some cookies. It was a bomb batch of cookies. She's locked it in. Like she just got the recipe down that I really like, and I'm fucking with it, and it's like hitting every time. So I'm very excited. I'm very satisfied with the cookies. Just and she be making it, and like the first round she made enough for like literally the whole weekend. And in this situation, she's like, yeah, I have that now, so we're not gonna have as many cookies, which is fine because we still have plenty of fucking cookies. I'm eating my fill and then some. Um, and then let's see. That moves us into Sunday. We went out to McAllister's, and I got a bacon lettuce. What was it bacon lettuce, tomato, and avocado, and potato salad with the pickle. And then Zoe got an Italian, and then we both got sweet tea. She got like a half and half with strawberry, and then I got a just the OG regular. Which, if you haven't been to Calcer's, their tea is fucking awesome, and their potato salad is fucking awesome. So I always try to get that. I always try to get those two things. And really, the bacon, lettuce, tomato, avocado situation has just become my staple. The BLT is probably my favorite sandwich. Though I will say a Reuben is close, but a Reuben's a little bit more heavy duty, and I kind of like that I get bacon and it feels light on on a BLT. I've always like really, I like that. So yeah, that was really yummy. That was really good. Then I bidded my beautiful, wonderful girlfriend adieu. Though I will say, I didn't mention this at the top. She did give me a wonderful gift. It was so cute. There's a couple of pictures that I have. I've posted them on the Instagram, and she got them printed out and made frames, or got frames for them. And she had two set up in the new place for her, and she gave me two. And so now I have pictures of us in my apartment. So that's really nice. It's really cute. Very, very touching. But yeah, after that, I skedaddled, and I went to the gym because I missed the gym for Friday and Saturday. I felt bad. I felt like a chud. Felt like a huge chungus. But it was nice just to get in there. It wasn't too busy. I did mostly like some cable stuff, and then a little of this, a little of that, a little pile of bullshit. 15 minutes on Stairmaster, and we were back. We were back at it. Felt good. Felt right. And then we went to the grocery store. I was gonna say we went to the grocery gym, the jungle gyms. No, we went to Kroger and just picked up some essentials I needed, mostly like chicken and salad mix and all that kind of stuff, snacks. Got that done, and then came home. I didn't do a stretch. We're lacking. Maybe I'll do that after I do this episode. But came home. Actually, I didn't even have my snack. I just drank some creatine. That's about it. Drank my little creatine water, and did some research. So I just got right into the research because we do have a good amount of news. I know I definitely missed some things. I know at week's end, or at least throughout like towards the end of the week, I noted that Cuba is back at having like a lot of big nationwide power outages and stuff like that. They're once again, dealing with, they've been dealing with an oil shortage crisis, essentially being choked out by America. That's just been an ongoing thing, and I felt like I should have covered that, but I didn't. I'm kind of just mentioning that a bit offhand. But there's a whole slew of news that I wanted to cover. Is really what I'm getting at here. So let's go ahead and do our startup, and let's get into the news. Now I don't watch much UFC. I used to watch a little bit of it when I was a bit younger, in my 20s or whatever. Um, but we've talked about Conor McGregor at least a little bit on this podcast. I know we have in terms of just some fucking incidents involving him, not related to UFC. So I was definitely happy to see this motherfucker just go down in like less than 2 minutes of his fight, if I'm not mistaken. What a fucking loser. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. A little sports corner for you. A little sports, got a little weather. There you go. Getting a whole little news day. Oh, I'm also forgetting with the gift. It had a really cute note that was really adorable and very heartfelt that I also have with one of the pictures in the house. Anyway, hoo-wee. Our first story is coming from the BBC. Wildfire in southern Spain leaves at least 12 dead and 23 missing. At least 12 people have died and 23 others are missing in a wildfire in southern Spain. Andalusia's regional leader, Juanma Moreno, has said. Four of the victims may be British, Andalusia officials say. Hundreds of people are trying to contain the fire, which Moreno said appeared to have been caused by a downed power line. The flames then spread to in a wooded area around Los Gallardos, Almeria. Though it is noted that I think a power company has come out and disputed that, and they're saying no, that line was not active when this happened. So I mean, I guess maybe we should put alleged there or whatever, but we'll see. Time might tell. A sustained heat wave with temperatures of around 40 degrees Celsius or 104 degrees Fahrenheit has caused wildfires across southern Europe in this summer. Firefighters have battled major incidents in France, Portugal, and Spain, with thousands forced to leave their homes. The bodies of the victims were found in and around the small village of Bedar, just outside Los Gallardos. Let's see. Antonio Sanz, Andalusia's health and emergencies minister, said the fire had been complex and rapid, and the majority or even all of the victims may have been foreign nationals. I know that they said that they mentioned the British ones, and I know there also might have been let's see, Belgian Foreign Minister Maxime Prévost said many Belgians had second homes in Spain, and consular services were trying to contact Belgians with whom they have not been able to get in touch with. Let's see here, but yeah, definitely very tragic too. I really don't want to get into the details in terms of what happened to some of these people, but in terms of the ones four were in a car that died in the middle of the fire, and I was like, damn, that's definitely like not the way you think about when it's like, hey, if this person died in a car, you'd think like an accident or something like that. But then you go to these kind of situations and it's like, damn. Or I think of maybe being stranded somewhere cold or things like that. And in those kind of moments, I'm like, it gives me fucking, chills. So obviously very sad, very unfortunate to the people, not just the people of British, descent or whatever. I know this is kind of centered that way, I think, because it's the BBC or whatever. But, just everyone involved. And I know that number maybe has gone up as of even this recording. And it's just devastating to lose your life. It literally burnt down potentially. The place you live, the place you work, having to, completely uproot your life. And then also knowing too that like really the climate is not changing. It's only going to get worse. You're only going to be seeing more and more of this kind of shit, unfortunately. And that's a very sad, very scary thing. So, my condolences go to the people, who've lost their lives and family who have to, once again, pick up the pieces. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on. I almost want to say this is a bit of a lighter story, only because no one died. So there we go. We love that. But from CBS News, man partially sucked out of broken Ryanair plane window during flight, fellow passenger says. A man was nearly sucked out the window of a Ryanair flight when it detached midair en route to Germany, with other passengers pulling him back inside, a witness told Greek media on Friday. The passenger, described as a tourist from Serbia on a flight from Thessaloniki in Greece to Minen in Germany. Sure, I got that one. Was hospitalized with friction burns, but otherwise in good condition, authorities said. The Associated Press quoted an unnamed Greek hospital official as saying the 61-year-old was treated for neck and shoulder injuries from and friction burns. Most of us had fallen asleep. We had our eyes closed. There was a noise like a tire bursting, a fellow passenger told Radio Thessaloniki. We immediately realized there had been a decompression. There were screams. For a moment, I thought someone had accidentally opened the emergency door. The mask dropped, and there was a strong smell. The head and shoulders of one passenger were outside the window. Fortunately, he hadn't taken off his seatbelt, which obviously that is very fortunate. But then that makes you think like Jesus, he's just like this person's getting like sucked out of the plane and like he's literally being held by his seat and his seatbelt or whatever, but there's no way that's comfortable. And I mean, luckily other passengers near the man helped to pull him in. Video circulating on social media, which CBS News could not verify independently, purportedly showed the inside of the plane after the incident, with a broken window and oxygen mask hanging from the ceiling, but no passengers visible. Let's see here. Let's see. We'll read the road from here. We are in contact with the FAA as state of design of the aircraft as well as the engine manufacturer. We will follow the situation closely as more information as more information emerges, and take any continued airworthiness action needed to ensure safety. I'm pretty sure the detachment that we are talking about, if I'm not mistaken, is from the engine, and parts of the engine is what hit the window, and that's what broke the window. I might be mistaken there, but essentially they had to reroute the plane, come back, land, obviously get everybody out. But that's crazy. I mean, some might call it a miracle, whatever, luck, you name it, but I will be thanking my fucking lucky stars that I didn't die. I mean, I know, what was it, a year or two ago, we covered a story about the kid who like lost his whole ass shirt from an incident with like a Boeing plane. So these stories aren't really necessarily new to us, but definitely scary. We get again speaking of the Boeing 737-800 returned safely to Thessaloniki. I'm never gonna say it right. Thessaloniki Airport in Greece Friday, July 10th, around 7:10 a.m. local time, after experiencing a broken window. But yeah, apparently, though, a woman died in a similar sounding incident in the U.S. in 2018. And an aviation expert told CBS News at the time that it is possible for a person to be sucked out of a plane in flight if they aren't wearing a seatbelt, due to the incredible amount of pressure trying to rush out of the small opening. I can't imagine. That sounds so painful and so fucking scary, dude. Y'all know I don't have like a huge fear of flying or anything like that, but like, I don't want to get sucked out the goddamn window. But yeah, luckily that this person was able to, just come out with some, friction burns and some, bruises and whatnot. And that overall, it seems like they're going to be fine. So that's good. But yeah, let's move on from one thing to this is overall, good news here from a bad situation. Once again, from the BBC. More than 40 kidnapped children and teachers freed after Nigerian army operation. Nigeria's military says it has freed all 44 pupils and teachers who were abducted 2 months ago from schools in the southern state of Oyo, and arrested some of their captors. If I'm not mistaken, I think we covered this in May, and, this is essentially an update. A local teachers union has told the BBC of its relief, but families say the ordeal has been harrowing and they're still waiting to be united with loved ones. The military said that several soldiers died in the rescue mission. The free captives are currently receiving medical treatment at an undisclosed hospital and will return home at a later date. Army spokesman Jonah Danjuma said in a statement issued on Friday evening. A renewed wave of mass kidnappings has hit Nigeria in recent months, and insecurity remains a major issue ahead of next year's general election. Now, please mistake me if I'm wrong. I might be getting this misinterpreted from when I had listened to the story initially on the BBC when I was coming home today, or at least heading to the gym. Um, I think that there might be an overlap of a new wave of kidnappings. Now, I might be wrong, and like I said, I might have just misinterpreted what I was hearing, and they were just, kind of recapping or something to that effect. But still, all the same, that this has been an issue that's on the rise. But I am happy that at least, people were able to get home, in terms of the teachers, the kids, the children, it's crazy that you come to school, you're just trying to have your school day, and the next thing you know, you are being taken away. Your whole life is being, completely just reconfigured in some dark, nightmarish way, um, and you never know if you're ever going to get home. You know what I mean? And I'm really tiptoeing around the story because there are definitely I've heard some testimonies from people who've had to go through this kind of shit, students and staff, and it does get very dark. Let's see. The government says it's stepping up security around schools and vulnerable communities, but critics say it's not enough. In this case, the victims were kidnapped by gunmen on May 15th from 3 schools in the district of Sire in Oyo State: Baptist Nursery and Primary School, LA Primary School, and Community Grammar School. No official confirmation has been given of the victims' ages, but children at the schools in Nigeria are typically aged between 2 and 18 years old. So yeah, happy to at least report that there is some good news here, though I know that conflict is still going on. I also know too that this is one of those things, not to get political or whatever, but I mean this is a political situation at it's for Nigeria as a country, but then the overall, especially when we have Donald Trump using this kind of shit, saying like, yeah, they're targeting Christians, they're targeting Christian schools, and da 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 da. It's like they're targeting these institutions not for that specificity, but okay, in Nigeria's situation, they're like, if you're willing to help, we will take it, but we don't want you to kind of classify this and make it something that it's not, because then you're making things worse in that regard. Not that the Trump administration gives a fucking rat's ass about any of that. They just kind of want to make their points, whether they are real or not, and call it an accolade, call it spreading American democracy and world fucking peace, I guess. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and move on. We'll call that good, at least for now. Reuters. Judge approves $46.75 million payout for 23andMe data breach victims. Yeah, another update for you. A U.S. bankruptcy judge on Tuesday approved a $46.75 million settlement for victims of a 2023 data breach at the genetic testing company 23andMe, which exposed genetic and other personal information of an estimated 6.9 million customers. Nice. U.S. bankruptcy judge Brian Walsh in St. Louis said the settlement was fair and equitable and in the best interest of a trust overseen by the company's bankruptcy administrator. The settlement will be reduced by $14.29 million previously dispersed in connection with the breach, making the total additional payout $32.46 million. There's some more details here they have bulleted. We're going to call it yada yada details, schmeetails. By all means, hit up Reuters if you want to get all that. I don't know if you've given your data, your DNA. Sorry, I've definitely been watching Metal Gear Solid 2. Anyway, if you have any involvement in this, if you've dabbled in the 23andMe, hey, no judgment, by the way. Obviously, it's a cool, interesting thing. I know it maybe sounds like I might get a little persnickety or whatever, but I just know that I wouldn't do it because I don't need to know that shit I don't know. It's just given my family background history or whatever. It's whatever. The people around me are my family. My family is my family. People who stick around, blood, whatever, da da da. Like, the people in my circle are my family. Like, that's all I really gave a shit about. And I don't really care about where I'm from or what's my genetic makeup or blah, 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 blah. So all that stuff was kind of whatever to me. What I'm made of, where I'm from, who you're connected to, all that shit. So these kind of things kind of went over my head. And then when I found out that they were using this DNA, at least law enforcement could potentially use this DNA to, like, connect the dots via your shit. I was like, ew, I don't like that. That's scary. That's weird. That's off putting to me. So I was like, yeah, and people were paying money for that. I'm good. I'm good. So, but I still found it interesting. And then the fact that there's like a potential money payout, there's a story to be told there. So please reach out. Let me know if you have a 23andMe experience. Didn't you have like spit in a cup or something? Is that not the thing that you did? You had to do? Anyway, I mean, they're done now. It's over. When it's over. I don't know. Is that still a thing though? Are people still doing that? trying to get their ancestry that was another one, right? Ancestry.com. Am I wrong? Am I talking in my butthole here? Anyway, speaking of butt stuff, no, I told myself I was gonna be really not mean, but it's hard because we have a loss. Well, a loss for some. Well, we got to do an RIP here. I'm gonna try to be respectful. I said I was gonna work on it. It's hard. Anyway, we got to talk about a little ham biscuits a little bit. We got to chop it up. We got to say bye to a to a baddie. I don't know, man. How do we talk? How do we say goodbye to Lindsey Graham? Let's take our last break and we'll figure it out. We'll get there. Oh man. Trump's like favorite frenemy. Oh man, what a storied history. What a guy. Tears for South Carolina. Ooh. All right. From the Associated Press. Senator Lindsey Graham likely died after aorta tear. Medical examiner says. Senator Lindsey Graham, one of President Trump's closest allies in Congress, who traveled the globe to advocate for a more aggressive foreign policy, died after a tear in his aorta, according to a preliminary medical examiner finding shared by his office. The tear in the inner wall of the aorta, hardly nowhere, aorta, called an aortic dissection, was related to the hardening of Graham's arteries. An official cause of death will be disclosed after toxicology and microscopic testing. Graham, a prominent South Carolina Republican and former Air Force lawyer who served in Congress for more than 3 decades, had turned 71 years old just 2 days before dying on Saturday night. His office had originally said he had suffered from a brief and sudden illness. Can I make it a little aside here? Because I didn't talk about this because I'm really waiting for the Grim Reaper to finally take this motherfucker, Mitch McConnell. He's still around. He's still kicking somewhere. He's in some Vita chamber, regaining health points or something. Maybe, and I have a conspiracy theory that I've been kind of just stewing over the past 24 hours. Maybe he sucked the soul out of Lindsey Graham. And that is how he's staying alive. That is how he's staying on this realm, in this plane of dimension. Because, he had some kind of pneumonia or something, and he also was, seen, glitching out, in the middle of it, a conversation or something. He's they wheeled him away. And the next thing you know, they put him on a fucking stretcher, and he was out of there. But no, somehow, some way, Mitch McConnell is still alive, and Lindsey Graham is dead. Lindsey Graham is dead. So I didn't have that on my bingo card for this year. But here we are. Things happen. Mr. Ham Biscuits himself. Yeah, and hey, I am not going to get into any of the, the allegations about him being a closeted homosexual or whatever. That's his life to live or not live. To me, it's more frustrating that, given that might be potentially his background, that he went out of his way to make sure that people would not have those kind of rights. So that's great. Also, they mentioned his foreign policy. He was a fucking war hawk. You name the area, he was down for us trying to fuck it up. Whether it be China, whether it be Iran, whether it be Russia, he was like, let's fuck with them, let's blow them up, let's shoot at them, because somehow, some way, that's gonna make America better. Obviously, I'm wildly generalizing his foreign policy, but obviously, I'm not a fan. I'm not for it. I'm not for the guy. Though I will say, funny fucking clips. Funny fucking guy in a way. Um, you could say, hey, you tip his feather in his cap. Very much a savvy political opportunist. And what I mean by that is he was willing to say, hey, I think I have the juice to run in 2016. I'm going to run for president. No, you're a fucking loser. No motion. But this guy that you were saying, hey, this Donald Trump, yeah, I'm not for everything. I'm for some of this stuff, but not all this stuff. We're a couple of Republicans realizing though that he is a bit too crazy, but then understanding that he is the wave. So you go, oh, I'm gonna start glazing and going along with whatever this guy says, and he gets to keep his job. You know what I mean? He goes from being the Rhino Republican in name only to like best fucking friend. Like no worries, no problems. Saying once again the gay allegations. But hey, he stayed in power. He made friends across the aisle. I think other oldies or whatever fuck with this guy. Needless to say, I'm not a fan. If you get that, you gathered that. But yeah, I guess good. Play Alexa, play Good Riddance. I don't know. That's pretty much all I have. I did mention Mitch McConnell. He says he was briefly unconscious, had pneumonia, and that's like a little bit of a headline there. But yeah, he's still alive, not fucking dead. I don't even care how old he is. Dude is like damn near necrotic, and he's still kicking somehow, some way. Um, I didn't want to like put this into the main, but I mean it is a story. We're just gonna hit it real quick. Associated Press: fire breaks out at pub in Bangkok, killing at least 27 people. Lot of fires in goddamn, Asia. I'm not gonna lie. I thought this was gonna be another China story, and I'm realizing now that it's not. But hey, we're running it. We're being honest, and we're being open. But a huge fire engulfed a pub in Bangkok early Monday morning, killing at least 27 people and injuring dozens before firefighters brought the blaze under control. Footage shared online by first responders shows a huge blaze raging and plumes coming out of the front door of the Na La Padrao pub in the northern part of the Thai capital. People are seen trying to flee as thick black smoke billows into the sky. Rescuers said the fire was reported around midnight. So yeah, a little bit there. I know that's a kind of a fresh off the ticker story. So yeah, we will go ahead and leave it there for the day. A little bit of a news roundup there. I'm sure even with that, I'm sure I'm missing a lot of things, but we do what we can with the time that we have, don't we? But yeah, if you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/Isaiah News. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube, follow on TikTok, follow on Spotify, follow on Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to listen. Leave a like, leave a cool comment. Sharing is always caring. All the stars are appreciated. High marks on either Spotify or Apple Podcast. If you don't do any of that though, that's okay. I just appreciate you hanging out. Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.